what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing the new Double Down seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which every card in our deck gets duplicated, and then whenever we play a unit, we will play a random unit that costs the same amount of provisions from our deck. That means we can play twice as many of some of the strongest cards in the game, setting up some amazing combos that can't be seen anywhere else. Let's go take a look at the deck. So today we'll be playing a Northern Realms Pincer maneuver deck that focuses on playing as many mages with the Patience ability as possible. When we combine that with some cards that improve the effectiveness of our Patience or get boosted by our Patience procs, then this deck can become incredibly powerful. Of course, the basic Patience mages will be the Ard Student for damage, the Aretuza Student for boosts, and the Meditating Mage for vitality and therefore boosts and also some resilience. Then we add in Leticia, who will increase the rate at which our Patience increases, and if we get 2 Leticias and we activate one of them on one turn, then she will improve the second Leticia's effectiveness, which we can activate on the next turn, at which point all of our Patience units become incredibly powerful. Then we can use all those Patience orders and then play Tissia to reset all those Patience orders on our next turn and use them all again. Then we save Alumni for last, and as long as we spent enough time powering up our Ard Students and our Aretuza Students, then Alumni could be ridiculously powerful as well. Then you also have Viraxis, which is another way of resetting one of those orders, which we can also do with Casting Contest. We do also have Gerhart, which is another Patience mage, though we want to be careful with him because we cannot exceed 13 on his Patience ability, otherwise it becomes completely useless because there are no spell cards that cost more than 13 provisions. So there's a look at all the key combos in the deck, but now I'll flip through to show you what else we have. And Raffard's Vengeance, assuming we play 2 mages per turn, could give us a ton of damage. And Vysogota will just gain a whole bunch of charges given how many cards people are playing, so that means a whole bunch of boosts. Then the Aretuza Adept will get boosted from all those Patience procs. And Teleportation is a way of, after having used one of those Patience abilities, to then replay one of those cards. And then assuming we use one of those Patience abilities, then Practice Makes Perfect is a way of putting that card back into our deck and getting a different mage to replace it. So there's a look at the deck, and like I said, it is all about the Patience mages. Now, it's unlikely that we get the perfect setup to absolutely maximize the amount of Patience on any given unit, but we have so many ways of increasing our Patience and using our Patience orders numerous times that you shouldn't have to worry too much about getting the perfect sequencing down. But with that being said, in theory, this deck is capable of scoring an absurd amount of points, so let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against monsters here. And we'll go first. Okay, so we have our Alumni, which will ideally be our round 3 finishers, but we need some cards to set them up, so I think we get rid of Teleportation, and Oneiromancy could definitely help. Let's get rid of our other Teleportation here. And we get Leticia, that is certainly one of our best meta Patience cards, increasing the rate at which our other Patience units increase their Patience. Then let's get rid of Practice Makes Perfect, and we get another Meditating Mage, okay. Well, let's start with Leticia. And we are guaranteed to get our other Leticia out from our deck, because she is our only 7 provision unit. Let's use Crystal Skull on one of her. Alright, they'll go Predatory Dive, that is unfortunate, but it is, of course, a very good play. Now I think we try to get either an Aretuza Student or Ard Student out here as the target for Leticia. So let's go Oneiromancy into the second Oneiromancy, so we get both echoed copies. Then Amphibious Assault, so we get even more echoed copies of our key cards in round 2. And then either go Aretuza Student or Ard Student. And we'll get a Meditating Mage out from our deck. We probably would have preferred a Ard Student. So for most of our key units, we will be guaranteed to get the second one out from our deck, because there will be only one unit that costs that number of provisions, but at 4, there are numerous. But for the most part, they're all of our Patience bronzes, so sometimes they'll be Aretuza Student, sometimes they'll be Ard Student, other times they'll be Meditating Mage. Now, they're trying to deal some damage with Nithral. They don't have Dominance, at least unless they use their leader ability. They're only dealing 1 damage per Nithral. And now let's go with 1 charge of our leader ability here. Get our other Amphibious Assault. We'll put back one of these 4 provision mages. And instead, we'll use Amphibious Assault to play one of them from our deck, giving it a much bigger boost. And we'll get another one out from our deck as well. And we do want to try to get a mixture of Ard Students and Aretuza Students, because ideally, we'd get both of them up to at least 4 to give Alumni Zeal. Alright, they are going to use their leader ability on Nithral. And they know they should go for Leticia. Can they get rid of... Oh, they can. Alright, so that's painful. Took the risk, of course, when I opted not to use Leticia's ability, but called patience for a reason. The longer you wait, the stronger it gets. I think now let's actually go with Gerhart. I think that may distract them a bit. So we'll get 2 Gerharts out here. Of course, very strong, because that order ability will get quite powerful quite quickly. But in truth, in many ways, he is a distraction, so we can continue to power up our Ard and Aretuza students. So I'm curious to see what direction they go in here. They are going for the Ard student. They'll go Apiary and Phantom. This looks so much like a Keltullus deck right now. So we should prepare ourselves mentally for that, likely in round 3. So now let's go Aretuza Adept to get boosted from all these Patience procs. And that is our only 5 provision unit, so we are guaranteed to get another one out from our deck. That does mean we want to try to wait before using these Patience orders, although we might want to use one of the Gerhart's abilities here, because if we do this, we're looking for... Oh, we didn't get it. There is one card that could have locked the beast. So I was looking for Artifact Compression, but instead, I guess we'll zap Nithral. That way they do not have Dominance anymore. Alright, they'll go with another Apiarian Phantom. And get Brewis. Not really sure they want to consume any of these units. Now they're going after the Aretuza Student and Ard Student. Really consuming their Apiarian Phantom. I suppose they did just use their ability on it. Getting rid of the Meditating Mage now, or at least trying to. And by consuming with Brewis, what they did do is they did gain Dominance, so now those Nithrals are dealing more damage. And our Aretuza Student is already at 4. Our Ard Student will get at 4 at the end of this next turn, which means Alumni will gain Zeal. Well, let's go with another round of Meditating Mages here to threaten their resilience. And we'll get another Aretuza Student out from our deck. I think I would have preferred absolutely another Meditating Mage, because, of course, we need 2 of them to get that resilience. But it does mean more patience. So those Aretuza Adepts will start to get very big. Alright, it's Wispess. For a little bit of damage, they're trying to take out Gerhart, and to be honest, they may very well be able to do that. They no longer have Dominance because of these Aretuza Adepts. They're only dealing 1 damage per Nithral. Okay, and so now I think this may be the last turn we're looking to play this round. Let's go with another round of Meditating Mages. And we'll get, okay, Ard Student here. But we do have 2 Meditating Mages out there now, so we can use this order ability. And the Vitality is not going to be that amazing. But more importantly, just gives us a little bit of resilience. Assuming this may be our last turn on this round, let's use Gerhart. And maybe we use you for the boost on the Meditating Mage. That way it is more difficult for them to get rid of our resilience unit. And you know what? Sure, we'll use the weaker of our Aretuza students here. I'm deliberately going to not use our Ard Student or Aretuza Student orders here, so that gives us more patience to continue to boost Aretuza Adept. And it also means the highest number of our Aretuza Students and Ard Student orders will increase, powering up Alumni. They go for a huge play here with Gurnakora that will give them a lot of boosts per turn. we could use an Alumni to take that out. So we're going to get 8 points per turn, even if we pass here, from our Aretuza Adepts, proccing from all of his patience. And they will as well. I think we take that risk. I'm pretty sure they are going to pass us here, because of course they have the beasts, which will also give them some boosts as well. So I don't think they need to play anything, but I do want to save our Alumni. So yeah, they will just barely eke out the round 1 win. And we draw into our echoed copies of Amphibious Assault and Oneiro, so that's great. And one of the reasons why I was willing to do that in round 1 was because we got Resilience on a Meditating Mage, so we don't need to play anything in round 2. So this hand looks perfectly alright. Be interesting to see if they play here. They do. Wild Hunt Rider, okay. It just looks like a bleed attempt here. And that is not quite enough for them to proc Sabbath. So that means they will not get any additional boosts. So in that case, let's go with Amphibious Assault. And in case they are trying to bleed, Vysogota of Corvo is tempting. We might want to save him for round 3. Alternatively, we go with the Meditating Mage for some more resilience potential. I think we go Vysogota just in case, because I'm a little bit concerned about what they're doing here. And this is going to go in our melee row, isn't it? Okay. Thank goodness. Our turn ended, so it was technically going to be randomly placed. They probably should pass here, because they do have more points than us. But they will not. So they are committing pretty hard to this bleed. But of course, these Vysogotas will get a lot of charges. So now let's go Amphibious Assault into our other Meditating Mage, and I think we only have 1 remaining at the moment. So we go for you. And we'll get an Aretuza Student out from our deck. And we get lots of charges on our Vysogotas. So let's use those aggressively here. That is the reason why we chose to get them out as quickly as possible. We really should be boosting our other Vysogotas as well, just to keep them a little bit safer. And, yep, I had him active at the end of the turn, attempted to right-click to cancel it out, but no, the game decided to randomly boost the Wild Hunt Rider, which was actually the difference between them being in the lead and us being in the lead, so that was kind of significant. They probably should not have played there. They're trying to keep on bleeding, and I think the reason for that is because they're willing to play Keltullus and pretty much only Keltullus in round 3, and they're going to try to win with just that. So let's go Nero into an Aretuza Adept. And that is enough special cards, enough spells, to get this out from our graveyard, which remember we did last time. And we have enough boosts here to get beyond them. So now they kind of do need to play. They'll go Self-Eater. A little late for that. And Trigger Larva, and of course, the more cards they play, the more our Vysogotas will get charges. They do still have all the passive boosting from Witch Apprentice. And I was trying to say the Alumni, but I think we do need to use them here. So let's go Range Row, because it's worth slightly more points. I'm deliberately not going to play them on our first turn, though, or at least not going to play their order abilities, because we may need to use Tissia on our next turn. That way we can play them a couple of times. So let's boost them up a bit here and try to be faster than last time. Again, right-click at the end of your turn to cancel it out so that you don't accidentally end up using your remaining charges on Vysogota to boost your opponent. This is another time when they technically probably should pass here with their passive boosting. That would probably be enough for them to surpass us. No, they're going to keep on going here, and they do have enough damage to get rid of one of our Vysogotas, and that was what I was saying before, was we definitely should have tried to target the Vysogotas with our boosting. But it does take some time to get those boosts out there, so we just didn't have the time to do it. So now what we do is, yes, I think we do play Tissia. That means we will reset all of our mages' order abilities on the mages that we use the order abilities this turn. So let's go with all of our Alumni boosts. And just pass those around a little bit. Activate this Meditating Mage. Use this Aretuza Student's ability. And try to leave time for Vysogota. It is easier said than done, as we have already seen. Alright, then those order abilities come back. That means Aretuza Adept will still get boosted. They'll pass. They do get some passive boosting at the end of their turn. That is enough to tie things up, except we still have passive boosting here with the Aretuza Adept. We don't need to play anything. That'll be enough for us to take the round 2 win. So they tried to bleed us, and they almost succeeded, but we still took the round 2 win. Okay, so now we have Practice Makes Perfect, which will give us a 14-point boost, which is pretty sweet. We also have an Alumni. We have another one in our deck. I'm expecting for them to play Keltullus, so I think we do need whatever cards we have to be really big. Let's get rid of the Aretuza Student. And maybe they realized they weren't going to be able to match up with us here, because they forfeit. Alright, so going up against monsters here. And they'll go first. Okay, so in round 1, I think we're looking for Patience Mages, and we have a few of those. And then we'd like to also have Leticia. We don't need 2 Raffard's Vengeances in our hand. We are guaranteed to get 1 out of our deck when we play the first one. And we get more Alumni. That's, I think, going to be our round 3 finisher. And we could use Amphibious Assault to get Leticia. So I think this works. Alright, they'll go with Witch Apprentice and a Fuka. Okay, and we have just tons of tutors here. So let's actually go Oneiromancy into our second Oneiromancy. Get both echoed copies in round 2. Let's use that to get Leticia. And we're guaranteed to get the second Leticia out from our deck because she is our only 7 provision unit. So she is our meta Patience card. We'll increase the rate at which our other Patience units get their Patience up. They're going to Thrall. Oh, and what? Unicorn? Quite honestly, might be the first time I've ever seen someone use that card. Alright, so now let's get some more Patience units out there with either the Aretuza Student or maybe Amphibious Assault into a Ard Student. That way we get a boost, and we get another Aretuza Student out from our deck. Alright, they'll go Yennefer Conjurer, and fortunately, we now have a 9-power unit, so although they'll get a second one after their deck, they will just be damaging that Ard Student, at least to start things off, although the Thrall is a good combo with that, because now they can start damaging Leticia as well. So that damage is going to add up really quickly. I think we go Raffard's Vengeance here. And then get our other Raffard's Vengeance out. And let's use one Leticia ability so that this other Leticia gets stronger on our next turn. But I think we may need to boost up somebody with this Aretuza Student. Otherwise, I'm afraid that this combo is going to just be a little too much damage. Alright, they're going after Raffard's Vengeance. And then the damage with the ends, it hurts. Now we'll get a little bit of boosts. And some base power. Alright, so now we use our Raffard's Vengeance. And let's start with an Aretuza Student. We'll get a Ard Student. Okay, that works pretty well. Get a Ard Student out from our deck. That, of course, does need to go in the melee row. Then we'll use this one. And with this one, we'll play the Aretuza Adept. And that's not even our actual card we've played from our hand. Let's make that our Ard Student. And we may kind of sort of need to use Leticia here. Because I am concerned that these Yens are going to get rid of her if we don't. So fortunately, we do at least have an 8-point Aretuza Adept, so that will slow them down a bit. They'll definitely target that with Wispus. Possibly even the Apiarian Phantom. Yeah. Obviously, they're trying to set up the entire board wipe here with the Yens, and they're pretty close. But the thing is, with the big Leticia, we've now gotten the Ard Student up to 10 damage, or 6 damage in these cases, and the Aretuza Student up to 6 power in this case. So let's use all these order abilities. Most importantly, get rid of Yen. And I think we may even over-damage here. Get rid of this Yen, because she's clearly the most dangerous unit. Then let's boost one of our units. And let's use Royal Decree to get Tissia out here and deliberately play her next to Raffard's Vengeance for additional damage. And what she'll do is she'll bring back the order abilities on everyone that we use this turn. They'll pass, but we have a lot of damage and a lot of boosting now. So much so that we probably don't need. So let's actually go Teleportation here on the Aretuza Student and replay it next to you for some more damage. Get one of these mages out here, and remember, with all these patience procs, that will boost up the Aretuza Adept. We don't even need to use those abilities. Even with their passive boosting, we will still take the round 1 win. Alright, and then we draw into our echoed copies of Amphibious Assault and Oneiromancy, so that's obviously great. But I think we stick with this here, because we played one more card than our opponent in that last round. So we'll dry pass. We'll go with Afuka as their throwaway. And get a Witch Apprentice out as well. So they'll take the round 2 win. Okay, so now I think our objective is for the Alumni to be our key card and use cards like Casting Contest and Viraxis to reset those orders. Not as thrilled about Practice Makes Perfect anymore. Obviously, a 9-point boost is nice, but Royal Decree might be preferable here. Alright, so they're going to go with Wild Hunt Hound. Now, obviously, they have Dominance when they're the only units out there. Let's start with Gerhart, and he's actually not crucially important for our success here in this round, so in some ways he's a distraction. Alright, they'll go Yigern, and that is a big card. So that means they'll definitely have Dominance here. Although, it does become a very intriguing target for Alumni, who certainly has the damage to take it out. But next, what I'd like to do is use a leader ability charge here to get Vysogota in our hand. And get rid of possibly even Aretuza Adept. Oh, and they won't even stick around to see what that was all about, because by the looks of things, they have forfeited. Alright, so going up against Scoia'tael here. And we'll go first. Okay, so we have some Ard Students, and then Alumni, which could be good finishers. We have Viraxis that could reset a Ard Student, or ideally we'd get Leticia in here, so I think let's get rid of Teleportation. And I think we're still ideally looking for Leticia. Okay, Oneiromancy we can use to get her, so that's great. In which case, we could stick with this. Let's go for it. Alright, so let's do that right now. Let's go Oneiromancy. And it is always good to go Oneiromancy into your other Oneiromancy. So we get both echoed copies in round 2, and then we could use Amphibious Assault here to get Leticia. That'll give her a little bit of a boost. And let's even use Crystal Skull on her, because she is the key card that will increase the rate at which our patience gets procced. We'll go Hawker Smuggler, so yeah, that combined with Invigorate certainly seems like they will be going with hand boosting. They do lock and move a Leticia, but fortunately we do still have one of them at the very least. But that was going to be one of the big things, was having 2 Leticias that could feed off of one another. Let's get more patience out here with the Ard Student, and we'll get another one here. And I think we'll try to wait before using Leticia's patience. Of course, the longer you wait, the better it is, but as they've already demonstrated, they can move her. Okay, another Hawker Smuggler. They do theoretically have another Kieran, but they don't get it here. They'll get a Sorceress instead. Alright, now let's go with another Ard Student, and we'd like to get a random Aretuza Student out of our deck. Let's see. We do. So most of our key units, like Leticia, are the only units that cost that number of provisions, which means we are guaranteed to get the other one out from our deck whenever we play one. But 4 provisions is not one of those numbers, so there is some question as to whether we get an Ard Student or Aretuza Student. Okay, we are getting damaged on Leticia, so perhaps we may be running out of time to use her. And if we do use her, then we can guarantee that we at least get our Aretuza and Ard students up to 4 apiece, which means we can set up Alumni with Zeal, which is, of course, ideal. Except they'll forfeit, so we'll take the win. So there's a look at a Northern Realms deck for the new Double Down seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.